my fellow Americans. Today I want to continue my series in reading fantastic children's stories to all my young friends out there. So this one is going to be The Three Little Pigs, the story of three little pigs. And this happens to be my son Baron's favorite story, one of his all-time favorites. So once upon a time, there were three little pigs. And one day they decided to all build their own home. The first pig was Rosie O'Donnell, and believe me, she was a big, fat pig. So Rosie went out and said, I'm going to build my own home. So she went out with some straw. She said, I'm just going to make this easy. I'm just going to build a nice little hut out of straw. And she barely had the energy to do that, but she did, and she built the little hut, the pathetic hut made out of straw. And she laid down and was going to nap all day. But a wolf came, a big, bad, ugly wolf. And he said, little pig, let me in. And Rosie said, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin, she said. And believe me, she had a very hairy chin. And the wolf said, if you don't come out, I'll huff and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house down. It's more of a shack, but I'll blow it down. And so the pig said, please, sir, please, Mr. Wolf, don't blow my shack down, she said. She said, please, sir. But he did anyway, and she got eaten, unfortunately, very sad. I don't know, maybe fate was against her, who knows. But ate her, and the poor wolf almost killed him. He had such a big meal. But anyway, so the second little pig, his name was Jerry Nadler. Almost as big of a disgrace as the first pig, Rosie. But Jerry Nadler went along and he found some sticks and he said, you know what, I'm going to be smart. And I'm going to build my house out of sticks. So he spent the day building and building and building, and then he had to take a nap or 2 or 3 or 4. But he finally got it done by nightfall. And he had this pathetic, worthless little shack made out of sticks. So he built it, and he was happy with it, I guess, and he went in and was going to take a nap for the 5th time. But when he was in there, the wolf came, the big, bad, stupid, ugly wolf. And he said, little pig, let me in. I'll tax you for it. And the pig said, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin, he said. And he didn't have quite a hairy chin as Rosie O'Donnell, but it was pretty close. But anyway, the wolf wasn't too happy with that answer, and he said, if you don't let me in, I'll huff and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house down. And I'll take your Medicare away from you. So the pig said, oh, please, Mr. Wolf, don't eat me. Please, Mr. Wolf, spare my life. Spare me, Mr. Wolf. But the wolf wouldn't listen, and he ate him. And he ate poor Jerry. Poor Jerry got eaten very badly, very quickly. He's not quite as big as the previous little pig. But he's still very fat. So the wolf went away all satisfied. And he went back into his deep, dark cave where he came out of, his hole in the ground where the wolf lives. But then the third pig, very smart pig. And actually, he wasn't a pig at all. It turned out he was a very thin, handsome, tremendous person named Donald Trump, which just happens to be your favorite president of all. So Donald Trump, he looked around and said, you know what? I'm going to build my house out of stone. I don't care for brick. I like stone. But he built his house out of stone. And then he said, you know what? We need a wall. We need a big, powerful wall. So he went out and he built a gigantic, huge, strong, powerful wall, at least 30 feet high. It was going to be 20, but the president of Mexico says, we're not paying for the wall, Mr. President. We're not paying for the wall. And I said, oh yeah, well the wall just got 10 feet higher. That's what I told him. So I built it, a gigantic, powerful wall around my house made out of stone. It was something beautiful, and I electrified it. And the wolf came and said to himself, that's a big wall. That's a real big wall, but he thinks he could get through. So he said, Mr. President, you better come out of there, or I'll eat you. And I said, oh yeah, just try it. Yeah, whatever.
And he said, if you don't come out, I'll draw a line in the sand.
And I said, go ahead, draw a line.
And so
He drew a line. He drew a line in the sand. And then he said,
you better come out, or I'll take 2 steps backwards.
and I said, okay, go ahead. So then he took 2 steps back. And then he drew another line. And then another one. But I never came out. And I said, come and get me, Wolf. And so he finally said,
Okay, I'll go huff and I'll puff and I'll blow that wall down.
and so he did. He tried at least. And he huffed and he puffed. And then he huffed some more. Then he wheezed and he gagged and he did a lot of other disgusting things. But he couldn't blow down my wall because it's too thick. It's too powerful. And when the wolf got exhausted and tired, and he just laid down the grass next to it and he wept. And I looked at the pathetic thing and I said, you know what? I had enough. So I called in the U.S. Marines and they shot him dead. So the moral of the story is, kids, don't be stupid. Don't be a stupid naddler. Don't be a disgusting, pathetic Rosie O'Donnell. Don't build your house out of straw or sticks or anything weak like that. Build it out of stone. Build it out of brick. Build it out of concrete and rebar and a lot of great stuff. And make sure, above all, that you have a wall. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this. I know my son Baron did very tremendously. I read it to him almost every night. Please like, share, subscribe, and soon we'll build this channel up to something you wouldn't believe, something you would never believe. So with that, God bless, my friends, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Don't forget about me. Thanks all for joining. Goodbye.